Hello students, I start my class here, and before I start my class, I would like to remember two gentlemen. I would like to remember two things. One, I must say thanks to God. I am obliged to God for giving us a chance to start our life once again. So many of us, so many people near to us have died. They have perished in COVID, and my heart cries for them. I am thankful to God that I have survived and I have got a chance to work again. I am also here to thank Dr. Abhishek Agrawal for starting this wonderful ventures once again. Let me come to civil services examinations. Civil services is the examination in this country. It is very important examinations, it is a very important career options that you have. In fact, I would say this is the best career options you have. You have many career options, but civil services gives you a opportunity to grow yourself, serve the society, and you are ultimately satisfied. In no other jobs you have this kind of satisfactions. Civil services is very important. How do you prepare for civil services? Before I start telling you something, before I come to my subject and I start telling you about my subject, I would like to what I would do if I get a chance to prepare for the exams. What I would do if I get a chance to prepare for the exams. How I would start. I have been teaching for civil services since last 25 years, and I have seen here people come from all walks of life. Those students are there in my class who have not studied economics anywhere up till now. They would definitely have problems. They would have problems in understanding the technical words. They will have problems while reading because they don't know the background. They don't have the background, and a problem is but obvious. So I would suggest that when you start with NCERT books. This is no secret. Everybody tells you to start with this NCERT books. NCERT books helps you in making fundamentals strong. NCERT makes your plinth stronger. And once your fundamentals are strong, your basic concepts are strong, understanding of the subjects will be very easy later on. This is certain. Introduce yourself to reading newspapers. There are two things that you must start doing. Once you have done substantially, start underlining the words, the meaning, start underlining the facts. Try to grasp the fact. Try to analyze the fact. And also start making notes. Start making notes. Write short notes because you don't have to write big answers. This is going to help you in preliminary examinations as well as in mains examinations. What is the most basic skills that is required to qualify for preliminary examinations? You should have analytical mind. You should be a problem solver. You should be an analytical mind. You should be a problem solver. There are many skills required. What I want to say here is the most critical skills that is required for qualifying preliminary examinations. I am here today teaching, and just few days earlier, the civil services results have come out. It is very surprising that the cutoff for general students is 92.57, right? And this marks such a low marks. Even most of the student fails to get this much mark. This speaks volume about the quality of the questions that is asked in preliminary examinations. What I believe that the preliminary examinations is the main obstacle. It is the main wall of obstructions in your dream. Main wall of instructions. You have to learn to cross this wall. You will have to learn to solve this puzzle. And what is the main critical skills that is required for success in the mains examination? For success in the mains examination, your writing abilities, because this I find very challenging, that in just 3 hours you have to write about 4,000 words, right? And if you write to the point, right, you have attempted all the questions in my examinations, even mains is also something which can be cracked, right? I have just spoken about mind, about the things. This is from where to. Let me introduce myself. I am Abhash Vaidyanathan. I am here to teach you economics. Indian economy, as you all know, is very important for civil services examinations. It is part of the curriculum at every stage. It is important in the preliminary examinations. It is important in the mains examination. It is important in interview. It will also help you in writing essays. Your knowledge of economics will help you in writing essays. Please master economics. You should be comfortable in economics, because if you are not good at economics, you believe me, you will not be probably good officer later on. Economics is important. Economics is important. As a teacher, I must tell you, it is not a big part of the curriculum. It is a very small part of the curriculum, but it is a very critical part of the curriculum. It is a critical in the sense that it plays a very important role. Every paper plays an important role, but economics plays an important role. You will understand it will play an important role. I know that most of you people, if I ask you, most of you have not been exposed to this topic. So I will give you, I will tell you how to begin. I will teach you, I will welcome you into the world of economics. I will welcome you. I will teach you from the basics of economics, from what is the meaning of the word economics. From here I will start, and I will take you to the highest pedestal of knowledge, that is understanding economic survey. If you have understood economic survey, you can debate with anyone regarding economics. You can debate with anyone. You can discuss on any topic. You can speak on any topic. You can speak your mind about economics. Let me start. And this is for those who have not been exposed to this topic. This is introductions. Once I have done my introductions, then I will give you a brief introduction about the syllabus. I wanted to give a brief introduction about the syllabus in the beginning itself. Then I decided other way around. Let me give you the introduction. Let me teach you introduction. Introduction is not necessary that the questions would come from here. It is necessary in the sense that it is the first step that you take in the world of economics. It is the first step to conquest, to climb the mountains. It is the first step to climb the mountain. That is introductions. That is introduction. So economics here, I write this word economics. What is it about? What is the meaning of this word? How does this word has come? And why do we read economics? There are so many things that is to be understood before we start this, before I begin teaching you the real part of the syllabus. This is for everyone. If you have studied economics at any stage of your life, let's say if you have been a student of economics honors or BCom honors, or if you have been the student of students of management, probably this class is not for you. This class is for those students who have not read economics at all. We have many students from professional background. They have done professional studies and they have not been exposed to these subjects even in the school days. So this class is for them. I would like to tell what is economics, the meaning of the word economics. See, economics has reasons, and the reasons of economics are the two basic facts of life. There are two basic facts of life. Two basic facts. There are two basic facts of life. There are two basic facts of life, right? two basic facts of life. Mark this language. Means these are two basic universal truth. It is true everywhere. What is it true? Number one, human desires are unlimited. This is human desires. Human desires are unlimited. First is human desires are unlimited. I try to be short here. Human desires are unlimited. Would you agree? Yes, desires are unlimited. There is no end to desire. Desire often gets built up. I have a house, I want a bigger house. I have a garment, but I want more garments. I have food, I want better foods. There is no end to desire. Desire is part of the human life. If we are not monk, if you do not adopt hermit life, if we are a normal human being, desires will always be there. It is what makes human being different from others. So desires will always be there. There are another facts of life. Human desires are unlimited. Number two, the second facts about life, resources are limited. Resources are limited. Desires are unlimited, resources are limited, and the resources are limited. Now, understand these two facts. Do we have enough money? Who has the unlimited resources? Probably no one. No one has unlimited resources. Not even the richest person on the planet has unlimited resources because his desires are still bigger. Resources in comparison to desires are always limited. So what happens because of these two facts, desires and resources, what happens that resources are limited because of these two facts, the problems of scarcity will always be there. It will result into problems of scarcity. It will result into problems of scarcity. Human desires are unlimited, resources are limited, and because of these two facts, there will be problems of scarcity. And here lies the most accepted definition of economics. What is the most accepted definition of economics? Economics has many definitions. Adam Smith has defined economics, but a scarcity definition of economics is the most accepted definition. I would like you to write this definition of economics. That is a scarcity definition of economics. A scarcity definition of economics. A scarcity definition. Economics is the science of choice in the use of scarce resources. Economics is science of choice in the use of scarce resources which have alternative ends. Please write down these definitions. It is not important, I know, but this is how you build up. Economics is the science of choice in the use of scarce resources which have alternative ends. Scarcity is a very important point. Because there is a scarcity, you have trade-off. You have to trade off your desires. If you want to prepare for civil services, you will not be able to earn certain amount of money that you can earn by working at this stage. So there is a trade-off, earning now or earning later. So scarcity and trade-off, and because there is a scarcity, there is a concept of opportunity cost. So I would write here, once I have dictated you the definition of scarcity, I have given you the definition of scarcity, and because I have given you the definition of scarcity, I give you two more concepts here. You must understand what is trade-off. Trade-off. You can't have everything in this world because there is a scarcity. You want to buy something, you will not be able to buy something else, right? You want to study something, you will not be able to study something else. And because there is a trade-off, there is another concept called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. Very important concept, because you understand, because if you understand these, you will be able to solve many things in economics later on. You will be able to understand many concepts. Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the next best alternative foregone. What is the opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is next best alternative. Next best alternative foregone. Opportunity cost is the next best alternative foregone. Understand this concept of economics, right? If I have given you this trade-off, I have said what is economics, meaning of the word economics. Economics, why do we study economics? Because there is a scarcity of resources in life. That is the paramount truth in this subject. Economics, we study economics because there is a scarcity, and therefore economics becomes an important subject because scarcity is everywhere. You need to have a knowledge of economics to get the best from the whatever you have. You need to have some basic idea about economics to take decisions anywhere in life, economics, right? Now let us understand, come to the next point, three fundamental problems of an economy. That is called central problems. Next question, next topic. Central problem of an economy. Central problem of an economy. Central problems of economy. There are three central problems of an economy. And all these problems are because there is a scarcity of resources. All these problems arise because there is scarcity of resources. Imagine there is no scarcity of resources. Economics would not be a very interesting subject. In fact, there will be no point in reading economics if there is no scarcity of resources. Now, resources itself is a bigger term. Your time can also be resources. Your time is also resources. Like let's say a rich man's sons. He has to take decisions. He has 2 hours to play, then he can play one game and he cannot play all the games. He has to sacrifice another game to play another game. So resources, scarcity of resources is inherent because life itself has certain years. You need to plan your life this way. What has to be done and what cannot be, what has to be done and what cannot be done. What can be done, what cannot be done. Central problems of an economy. This is also known as problems of allocations of resources. This is also known as problems of allocation of resources. This is also known as problems of allocations of resources. right? Central problems of economy, and this is also known as problems of allocations of resources. There are three central problems of an economy. There are three central problems of economy. Number one, what to produce. There are three central problems of economy. Number one, what to produce and how much to produce, and how much to produce, what to produce and how much to produce. This is very important. This is very important to understand what to produce and how much to produce, because we cannot produce everything that we require. We require so many things. For example, developing economy like India has to feed millions of people. So food, grain, energy are the basic requirements. We also require guns, we also require equipment, fighting material. That is also important, right? So then what we have to decide? We have to decide what is the most pressing things that we require. We have to protect our borders. Therefore, buying missiles and warplanes is urgent. Having food stuff is also urgent, because we are a nation of 130 crore people. We require to feed them. We require to protect our water. So it is important to know what is the most urgent thing that is required. What is the most important things in your life, so that you can plan your resources in a better way. You have to prioritize your need. This is the most important, this is the second most important, this is the third important. So this is the what to produce and how much to produce is the first central problems of an economy, is the first central problems of economy, right? Second central problems of economy is, second, how to produce. How to produce. How to produce. Is it a problem? Is it a problem? How to produce? Is it a problem? Yes, it is a problem, because there are different techniques of productions. All the techniques of productions would not suit everybody at the same time. Maybe we require labor intensive industry. Maybe. I'm just asking about the possibilities. I'm not giving you a solution. I'm not giving you a solution. Maybe we require a labor intensive technology. Maybe we require a capital intensive technology. Every technology has an advantage as well as disadvantage. What is the advantage of labor intensive industries? It would create, rather it would generate lots of employment for the people of this country, for the youth of this country. What is the advantage with the capital intensive industries? Capital intensive industries would increase the productivity of the resources. It would increase the productivity. Total production would increase if we use capital intensive industries. So we have to decide the technology of the, what type of technology do we adopt? Technology, I'm just talking about technology, and you must know technology can be two types. Technology can be two types. Labor intensive technology, it can be two types. Labor intensive and capital intensive. Labor intensive and capital intensive. We have two types of technology. Labor intensive and capital intensive. Labor intensive, I would try to explain labor intensive and capital. Agricultural activity in India is labor intensive in nature. Like agriculture activity in India is labor intensive in nature. Agriculture activity in USA is capital intensive in nature. What I want to emphasize here, farming and agriculture related activities can have both type of technologies. It can adopt labor intensive technologies. As you see the sowing pattern in the rural part of India, I have seen the laborers standing in the deep water and sowing the plant with their own hand. They are sowing the seedling with their own hands, right? And see the agricultural activities in the developed countries. They used heavy mechanized industry equipment, heavy equipment. They use big tractors. They have big machines to do various agricultural process. So agricultural activity in India can be labor intensive, and agriculture activities can also be capital intensive as normally seen in the developed countries of the world. Roughly 2% of the population in USA is engaged in agricultural activities. Around 50% of the working population in our country is engaged in the labor in agriculture industries in India, in agriculture sectors in India. Here I would like to give you one more information about the occupational structure. All the occupations can be classified into three. All the occupations can be classified into three. We have primary sectors, where people earn their livelihood directly interacting with nature. In primary sector, people earn their livelihood directly interacting with nature. Secondary sector, that's the manufacturing sector, and tertiary sector. And number three is tertiary sector. So we have three types of sectors: primary sectors, secondary sector, and tertiary sectors. Secondary sector is manufacturing sector, and tertiary sectors are services sectors, right? And now, if you compare the percentage of GDP coming from primary sectors around 1949 and at 2020, if you compare these two data, you will see the contribution of primary sectors towards GDP has drastically reduced from 1949 to in 2020, and the contribution of secondary and tertiary sectors have increased. And if you also compare the percentage of population that is engaged in the primary sectors in 1949 and percentage of population increase in primary sectors in 2020, it has decreased. So it gives a very important hypothesis as observed by Simon Kuznets, who also gave the concepts of GDP. We would talk about Simon Kuznets and this hypothesis later on also when I teach you national income. Here, I just want you to know one more important concept, that is, I want you to know about the Kuznets hypothesis. I want to give you one important word here. I will keep giving you terminology. These terminologies are important, and keep it writing, and it is going to help you. And you also revise on your own. One is Kuznets hypothesis on occupational structure. Kuznets hypothesis on occupational structure. If you understand what is it, as the economy grows, the percentage of people working in the primary sectors will decrease, and the percentage of people working in the secondary and tertiary sector will increase. This is very important hypothesis of Kuznets. You can also state this fact as the economy grows, the importance of primary sector decreases and the importance of secondary and tertiary sector increases. This is the very fundamental thing. Please keep in mind and please write it down. Please just write it down. As the economy grows, the importance of primary sector decreases and the importance of secondary and tertiary sector increases. If you have understood this, similarly, you should be able to guess about the other hypothesis. Kuznets has given hypothesis on inequality. Kuznets has given hypothesis on inequality, right? As the economy grows means size of the GDP expand or the per capita income expands. The inequality initially increases and then inequality decreases. Inequality increases. Let us say this is all you understand. This is a graph, and the graph I would always be using in my teaching process. In my teaching activities, I will always use some kind of graph, and I'll suggest you to write. When I tell you how to write an answer, I would tell you to insert graph and such kind of other figure to make your answers interesting. So this is, we have x-axis, you all know this is y-axis, and here what we have taken, size of the economy, percentage of GDP as the GDP increases, the inequality here, inequality, and here I have written inequality. So what happens, the inequality first increases and then it decreases. Inequality first increases and decreases. This is inverted U-shaped. It is an inverted U-shaped. Kuznets' hypothesis is inverted U-shaped. And this is also, there is again another hypothesis. Kuznets, there is another hypothesis of Kuznets on pollutions, on environmental pollutions. As the economy grows or as the GDP expands, the pollutions increases and then it decreases. Pollution increases and then it decreases. So this is increases, pollution increases, decreases. So remember Kuznets' hypothesis. Remember inverted U, this kind of things can be asked. This is just the introductions. This is what I have been teaching is the central problem of economy. My topic is the central problems of economy. And what is the central problems of economy? Number one, what to produce and how much to produce, which I have explained. Because you do not have enough resources to produce everything, you must know what to produce, what is the most important, and in how much quantity you want. Number two, how to produce. The second problem talks about the technology. We must understand the pros and cons of adopting a technology. It can have many consequences. Of lately, environmental consequences is also important. So how to produce is also a big issues in this thing. I would tell you a lot of issues will come. The current happenings are also important. Current issues are important. The technology is becoming critical. Adoption of technology is also becoming technical because coal has environmental consequences, but our dependency in coal is very deep. We cannot do away with the coal technology all of a sudden. Therefore, coal shortage in the power plant is a matter of concern. Time is not ripe to shift all of a sudden to solar or a solar technology or a wind technology or hybrid technology at present. Time is not ripe. We have to continue with the coal, and the shortage of coal is an issue. These are the current issues. Coal shortage is a matter of current debate. And what I am teaching, your understanding of fundamental will help you in understanding the current issues. Therefore, time and again I tell you to understand the fundamentals of economics. If you are able to understand the fundamental, you are able to understand any critical issues, any economic issues facing the nation, or any economic issues which is in news all over the world. Two central problems of economy I have already spoken. There is a third central problems of economy, and that is called for whom to produce. So I have written it. Let me written it. Three central problems. Let me rewrite again. Let me write again, and you please keep in mind all this. What to produce, what to produce, and how much to produce. How much to produce. B, how to produce. How to produce. C, for whom to produce. For whom to produce. What to produce and how much to produce, how to produce and what to produce. Very fundamental concept. This is given in NCERT and is the first thing that is taught to school children. And this is from where we began. Is it all right? Right. Now, let me come to new topic. I have taken two subtopics under introduction. What is this broad classes? The title of the class, if I am asked to give, it is Introduction to Economics. Or I would write Welcome to the World of Economics. I welcome you into the world of economics. I welcome you into the world of economics, and I would write it as Introduction to Economics. I have told you why do we study economics. Second, I have told you what are the central problems of economics. Central problem of economy. Economics can be further divided into microeconomics and macroeconomics. It can be further divided into microeconomics and macroeconomics. Micro and macro. This is not something new. Almost all field of knowledge has diversion. Biology has been divided into botany and zoology, right? Biology is study of life. Botany is study of plant life. Zoology is study of animal life. There is no similarity between botany and zoology. They are two different worlds altogether. But here, micro and macro, they actually are not watertight compartment. They are not two different things. What is microeconomics? Microeconomics is study of individual behavior. What is macroeconomics? Macroeconomics is a study of aggregate behavior. It is individual coming together becomes aggregate. So the micro and macro would feed into each other. The concepts of microeconomics will help you in understanding macroeconomics, and the concepts of macroeconomics would help you in understanding microeconomics, right? Know the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. I can introduce another word in between. Somewhere in between these two, there can be another word, Mesoeconomics. Mesoeconomics. When we aggregate individuals, not completely, but sector-wise, let us say a group of firms in a particular industry, group of firms in an industry. When we talk of an industry, it is aggregate, but it is not the aggregation in total. It is aggregate of particular segment. So here we use the term Mesoeconomics. Mesoeconomics. So get your concepts right about microeconomics and macroeconomics. You would understand it. These two important. In my introduction classes, I would be teaching you some elementary concepts in microeconomics also. Introduction to economics and introductions to microeconomics. This is my area of concern in this class. Next point, two different economic system. Two different economic system. We have capitalist economic system, capitalist economic system, and socialist economic system, and socialist, capitalist and socialist economic system. We have capitalist economic system and socialist economic system. Very fundamental concepts. Most of you would be knowing about capitalist economic system where resources are owned individually. Most of you must be having idea of the capitalist economic system and socialist economic system. But still, those who haven't, I am giving you an example. I am giving you a certain explanation of these two terms. Capitalist. Which country would represent the best capitalist economic system? Best capitalist economics, and which country would today represent socialist economic system? USA is the most important capitalist economy, and let us say China is most important socialist economic system. Or here I would say in capitalist economic system, resources are owned individually. Resources are owned individually. Resources are owned individually. Resources are owned by the state. A similar feature here. Resources are owned individually. If you write here, in capitalist, this happens. And what happens in socialist? Resources are owned by the states. Resources are owned by state. Resources are owned by states. This is the first point of difference between capitalist economic system and socialist economic system. Resources are owned individually. Resources are owned by the state. Second point here, the main motive of economic activity is profit maximization. Here, everybody is working for the profit. I am here for the profit. You are studying also for your long run profit, right? So it is the profit which makes the world move. Everybody is interested, right? You get up in the morning. Somebody is running, somebody is going to office for his income generation. Somebody is going to his station, somebody is traveling. Somebody is in the classroom, somebody is in the hospital. Everybody is trying to generate some income and everybody is trying to maximize his profit. So resources are owned individually, resources are owned by the state. This is the first point of difference. What is the second here? Main motive of economic activity. Main motive of economic activity is profit maximization. Right? Main motive of economic activity here is welfare maximization. Main motive of economic activity is welfare maximization. Welfare Welfare. Remember two things, that's profit maximization and welfare maximization. Welfare is something which is not part of the capitalist system because everybody is hankering after profit. And profit is something which is not part of the socialist system because the state is always interested in the welfare of its citizens. State. Here the state is playing a role, right? Just note down the 2 points of difference. I give you one more very important. I have given you the examples of capitalist economic system and examples of the socialist economic system. Find out good examples yourself. Which country would represent the best form of socialist economic system? Which country would represent the example of capitalist economic system? Capitalist economic system is also known as market economic system, and socialist economic system is also known as planned economic system. Here, right, the next point here that I'm supposed to give you here is the central problems of economy in capitalist economic system are solved by market mechanism. Central problems are solved by of economy is solved by market mechanism. Central problems are solved by market mechanism. I'll tell you what is a market mechanism. It's a very interesting term and it is very fundamental concepts and important concepts which will help you always, will be very useful and which I will explain in some time to come. Central problems in the capitalist system. Is solved by market mechanism. And similarly, central problems are solved by general planning body. Central problems are solved by general planning body, are solved by market mechanism, and central problems are solved by general planning body. Right? General planning body. There's certain, these are important point of differences between capitalist economic system and socialist economic system, and I have given you 3 important. This is very important concept because you would know about it in almost all field of knowledge. When you read political science, IR, and all, you will come to know about these. The issues with the capitalist economy or issues with the socialist economies, or when you read contemporary history, you would know about the Cold War, the ideological warfare between these 2 types of economic systems. Right? This is what we have to write here. When I am teaching you introduction, market mechanism, very important concept. In introduction, the first thing when you start reading economics is about market. When you read about market mechanism, before that, there's some more concept that you must understand. And those concepts are related with certain terminology. Initial terminology. Terminology would be important components of my teaching activity in every class. In every class, I would be giving you some terminology which you will have to master, because this is one of the typical feature of this area. Economics keeps creating new and new terminology which you will have to understand, and UPSC has weaknesses for terminology. One terminology about which UPSC had asked questions few years earlier about what is the opportunity cost, and UPSC had given certain options A, B, C, D. There were 4 options given, and that was we were expected to solve this. We were expected to choose the correct best answer which explains this word, and it was a very interesting questions. I have seen many teachers getting confused because there were so many closely related options. The options were closely related, and sometimes the choice becomes difficult. So terminology would be important. One terminology which I have already given you here is opportunity cost. I have given you trade-off and opportunity cost. The related words which is important, I have given you microeconomics, macroeconomics, and mesoeconomics. There is another terminology given you. You can choose many other. What is economic activity? You can choose what is economic activities, what is non-economic activities. You can write down, very simple, given in the students' basic elementary NCERT, economic activity versus non-economic activity. So what is here? Know about economic activity versus non-economic activities. Had it been a normal class, I would not have spoken about it. If I had interacted, I would give it as a homework. But here I would give you some homework here also. But here I will have to explain this. Non-economic activities, any activity which is done to earn livelihood is economic activity. Any activity done with the intention to earn livelihood is economic activity, and any activity done with any intention other than the livelihood is non-economic activity. I am teaching with the intention to earn profit. It is economic activity for me. I am teaching to a group of poor children for their welfare maximization under the garb of some NGO work. It is a non-activity. I am going to temple to do some puja type of thing. For me, it is a non-economic activity, but for a Pandit in the temple, it is a professional activity. It is his means of livelihood. So for him, it is a economic activity. So what is economic activities and what is non-economic activity? And similarly, what is economic resources and non-economic resources? What is economic resources? Very simple, economic resources. economic resources. When it comes to speaking about the words, I become very pertinent. I speak two times. I speak times. Resources. What is resources? Very important. You will see about resources. You will see about resources in geography. You will see about resources in polity, in society, resources, and of course economy. Resource. You are the part of nation's resources. You are part of the family resources. You are human resources, right? Resources. So this can have many dimension. The word can have dimension. Resources, right? Economic resources. Economic resources and non-economic resources. Non-economic. Economic resources and non-economic resources. What is economic resources? Anything which has utility. Anything which has utility. Anything which has utility. What is the utility? So one satisfying power of a commodity. One satisfying power of commodity. Anything which has utility and are in scarce. Are in scarce. Non-economic resources, it has utility, but it is not in scarce. For example, sunlight. We don't pay for the sunlight because even though it has utility, we don't have to pay. Water was a non-economic resources earlier, but in today's time, the water scarcity is visible. We have to pay for water everywhere. Even in the village, you have to pay for water. So it is economic resources because water is now scarce. Water scarcity is very important component of agriculture. Water stress in today's time and the water stress, we will study about agriculture. But here just I'm talking of resources. Economic and non-economic. Non-economic resources are which has utility, but it is in plenty and therefore we don't pay for it. And so it's a non-economic resources. Resources can be again classified as physical resources and human resources. Human resources. Physical resources and human resources. Again, it has many. Utility itself has got many connotations. Utility has a cultural connotations. Utility. Cow is not looked as resources, but then for in certain society in Europe, the cow slaughtering takes place on large scale because cow there is looked as resources. So utility has a cultural connotations also. It varies from place to place. It varies from time to time. It varies from the ideas that society has adopted. Resource itself is a bigger term and you will understand about resources as this is a terminology. So terminology about economic activity, non-economic activities, economic resources and non-economic resources, microeconomics, macroeconomics, mesoeconomics, right? And there is another concept here, potential output, and actual output, potential output and actual output. There's another concept here, we have to read about it. Potential and actual. Two things here, potential and actual. So when we are reading about it here, potential and actual. The maximum amount of resources, potential output. Potential output here can be written as maximum output. It is a maximum output. Maximum output that an economy can produce. That an economy can produce maximum output that an economy can produce, assuming that maximum output that an economy can produce, assuming that resources are fully and efficiently utilized. Resources are fully and efficiently utilized. And fully and efficiently utilized, and technology does not change. And technology does not change. Because if there is a technological change, the concept of potential output will also change. But with the assumption that resources are fully and efficiently utilized, the two words you must write. What is a potential output? You can use the word, same definitions to define potential growth. The question was asked in civil services last year in 2020 mains examination. What is the growth potential? What is the potential growth? The maximum growth, the maximum GDP that can be generated. The similar, extrapolating this concept there. Potential output. This concept has been used to define PPC, production possibility curve. I would suggest you to find out the definition of production possibility curve. Do not go into technical. When you read the books on NCERT, the books, microeconomic books, class 11th, microeconomics books, introduction, that is what. Try to look into definition aspects of concept, definition. Please do not go through numericals. Please do not go through graphs. Do not go through graphs because this is probably not you're supposed to know. No, if you want to read, that is other area, aspects of it. You can read if you want to read. There is no harm in knowing about things. But for civil services, what is important for civil services? Just to know the concepts important. To understand the graphs and concept is important. So this was my first class of economics, and in my first class I had I have just given you welcome to the world of economics. I have just given you the concept of economics. Well, I welcomed you to the world of economics. I told you very fundamental of the economics, right? Why do we study economics? What are the central problems of economy? And from there we could learn about the Kuznets law on occupational structures, Kuznets law on inequality, Kuznets law on pollutions. We could learn about the different type of economic system. We could learn about the different terminologies. The questions would always prop in from these areas. Questions can come from anywhere. These are the concepts which will help you in understanding economics everywhere. In my next class, I will continue with the concepts of economics. I would continue with the concepts of economics, and I would give you the initial concepts of market. When I teach you the market, I will introduce you to the world of demand, supply. I will introduce you to the world of the type of markets and elasticity and all these things. Then we move into the real world of Indian economy. I hope you have enjoyed my class. That's all for the day.